Hello everybody, my name's Steve from Retroman Blog, and you've just heard the Lysergics from their self-titled album, and that was a track called Unfaithful. And welcome to episode 23 of Retrosonic Podcast. With me today is Paul Slattery, legendary rock photographer.
Good evening.
Hello Paul.
How are you doing?
Pretty well, thank you. Yeah, we've been busy, haven't we, as usual, and so we thought we'd take this opportunity to go through a few of the gigs and events that we've been to over the past few months, and also have a look at what's coming up on the blog and at our live events. So hope you enjoy it.
Excellent. Well, that Lysergics track was right off its head, I think.
Yeah,
quite frankly,
nice
excellent.
But I thought, as we're in the mood following the senior service, and we're getting into that sort of instrumental stuff, so that's a great track, and they're a great little band. Right, and the good news is we've got another Retroman blog night coming up soon at the Half Moon Putney. And that's on June the 24th, which is a Friday night, and that will be with Ebbot Lundberg and the Indigo Children.
Well, he's a legend, Ebbot, isn't he?
He certainly is.
Larger
than life.
Large Ebbot legend from Sweden.
That's right, yeah. But it's great news, because obviously Ebbot was in the soundtrack of our lives, and before that, Union Carbide Productions, who are two of Sweden's probably one of the most influential bands to come out of Sweden. The sort of
the soundtrack of our lives, I think, was one of the greatest bands I've ever seen play live. They were absolutely phenomenal. Which,
when you think of the bands that you've seen play live, is pretty much the best honour that you can bestow upon them, isn't it?
Tremendous
really?
live, absolutely tremendous. And of course, ending up the last time I saw them with a legendary gig at the legendary Slussen's Pension in Orust on the west coast of Sweden.
That's right, fantastic.
A couple of years ago. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, I think you left some of your kidneys behind, the livers, didn't you?
Well, I certainly left my brain behind, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was great.
But can't wait to see Ebbot again. I mean,
it's good.
He's a great charismatic singer, isn't he, Steve?
Oh, definitely. And I think as regular listeners and readers to the blog will know that the Soundtrack of Our Lives are certainly my favourite band. In fact, the blog was initially set up just to write about Soundtrack of Our Lives, and Retroman came from my favourite soundtrack song. It's not the fact that I'm a nostalgic old miserable git.
Aren't you? Could have fooled me.
Most of the time. It's just my favourite soundtrack song, But it's great to have him over, and we're really honoured that he's going to come over and play for us. I said Friday night, June the 24th, so book your tickets now. You can get them from the Half Moon, www.halfmoon.co.uk.
And there's a great support bill as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah, we've got some great bands lined up. We have got opening the show, we've got the Fallen Leaves. So make sure you get there early, because they'll be on at 8 o'clock. So don't miss out. Doors will be at 7:30, so come along and make sure you don't miss the Fallen Leaves, because they're really on fire at the moment. And then we've got the Galileo 7, who obviously are Alan Crockford from the Prisoners' other band. So we've got an excellent support lined up. Both bands will be doing really tight 30-minute sets. And then we've got Ebbot and the Indigo Children.
Well, those two just alone, two fantastic bands in their own right, aren't they? Saw we've both seen the Fallen Leaves and the Galileo 7 recently. The Fallen Leaves were just they're in sparkling form with their new drummer Buddy, aren't they?
Definitely, and we'll be talking about them a bit later.
Yeah.
But, great. So Ebbot at the moment, the band is fantastic. They'll be playing a selection of old soundtrack songs and even some Union Carbide tracks, as well as a weird selection of cover versions, and their new album For the Ages to Come. They'll be playing most of that as well, so it's going to be a fantastic night. So,
well, I'm sure it's going to be one of those great legendary packed nights, midsummer evening night.
Oh, it is. It's Midsummer Eve.
Down at the Half Moon. I can't wait for it. And
Midsummer's Eve.
You're going to play one of their tracks, Steve?
I will. I'm going to play a track from the new album, and this was the debut single from the Indigo Children, and this is Backdrop People.
If you knew me, you never would have thrown away the pieces from the start. If you knew me, you never would be someone who's afraid to take apart. If you knew me, you never scared to let it out and leave behind. If you knew we were meant to be together to raise consciousness apart. So what is there to learn? And what do you like to know? 'Cause you seem to get it wrong. To nobody from someone. With a backdrop in your way, you just can't move along. So what is there to say with a backdrop in your way? If you knew me, we wouldn't be the enemies they was thought to be.
Great track. That was Ebbot Lundberg and the Indigo Children for their brand new album For the Ages to Come, and that's out on Howden Pop Records. So what do you think of that?
Fantastic.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Harks back to the soundtrack sound a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. It does hark back to the soundtrack sound. Sound of soundtracks.
Sounds, that's right.
But there you go. I mean, Ebbot's got certain style, and that band sounds really fantastic, Steve, his new band.
Yeah, they're a great little band, you know. Actually, Indigo Children are made up of a Stockholm-based psychedelic band called Side Effects, and they're doing really well in their own right. And they've added a guitarist, Rebecca, from The Hanged Man, and they've got together as Indigo Children. And the Side Effects actually have got their own single out, which has just been released. And here we can play that. We can play Lose You by Side Effects.
Let's hear it.
Yet you know that what you did was wrong. Didn't stop you to throw another stone at someone you used to be. All I'm asking you is just to leave. Screaming in a sunken room, singing about the things you put me through. Try to take down and stop me now. It don't matter to me anyhow. This is you. Wanna lose you. This is you. Now break loose. You think you're the better trip with all the money that you spill. So pleased to share your winning team and the feelings lingering. But I am all locked up in this sunken room, making sounds to ring in your future too. Yes, I am all locked up to be facing you with the sounds to ring in your future too. This is you. Wanna lose you. This is you. Now break loose. This is you. Wanna lose you. This is you. And now I'll break loose. You should think of what you did to me and the life I'm now supposed to live. All the stories that made me believe in this honest life from you to me. Yeah, you should think of what you did to me and the life I'm now supposed to live. And every glimpse of you that I can feel sets my mind for you to leave me be. Time for me to break free.
And that was Lose You by Side Effects, a great band that is actually part of Ebbot's backing band, so you can come along and I assure you they are a top band. If you thought Soundtrack were good live, then this is one of the only bands I've seen that's matched them. And talking of the Fallen Leaves, now, as I said, they'll be opening our show on June the 24th at 8 p.m. And they're going to be busy this year as well because they've started back their minimum R&B club nights, which we really miss is the old 12 bar.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, they used to play every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of each month at the 12 Bar Club in Denmark Street, and that was just a classic venue. And when that closed, things were never really the same again. I mean, the Leaves tried to take it on at the St Moritz, and it didn't quite work there. And now they've tried it out. Now they are trying it over at the Hope and Anchor, the refurbished old Hope and Anchor, the same old room where I saw Elvis Costello almost 40 years ago.
Well, it's hard to believe because that was like a legend. I mean, Madness played there, didn't they? The Damned, so many, the Prisoners,
the Police.
But you go down there, it's this tiny basement room.
Yeah.
And you think, how did all these classic bands ever fit in here?
Well, they did.
but it works, doesn't it? And it's got much better atmosphere than the Sam Ritz, and the old 12-bar gang is sort of coming back, because we missed everybody, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, but the 12-bar gang are starting to come back together at various gigs around town. It's great to see everybody coming back to the Fighting Cocks.
Yeah.
There was a good crowd down there to see the Fallen Leaves, and the new drummer Buddy. I mean, he's a drumming machine, isn't he? Yeah, he's a really great. Yeah. He's a great drummer, and I think they've been re-energised a bit with Buddy.
I think
behind the kit, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I think if you don't know that, unfortunately Bill left the band, and we all our best to Bill, because he's a great mate, and I'm sure
Bill
we'll see him
lovely.
around. He was a
Bill
great
Lexington,
drummer.
the last drummer.
Yeah.
Was a great guy.
Yeah, it's a shame that he had to leave, but in his place is Buddy Ascot from the Chords, so they've gone for quite a big name replacement off the substitutes bench, and it really works. I think he has re-energised the Leaves. They've been playing really well.
They're they're a brilliant band, the Fallen Leaves. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant band, and they have in Rob Simmons, of course, they've got one of the most extraordinary guitarists. After each gig is finished, I don't know how Rob has got any fingers left, quite frankly.
Yeah,
but you've got to see him. You've got to see him to believe him.
I know, it's
really
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you've got to come down. Got to come down to the Half Moon.
Yeah.
To see the Fallen Leaves and the Galileo 7, both fantastic bands, and Ebbot will just be icing on the cake, really, won't it?
Of course, you imagine that. Yeah.
Going to be a great night.
It's great, and as I said, the Leaves are busy, because I just heard that they are going to be releasing 2 albums this year. On their own Parliament Records, and first of all they're going to be releasing a compilation album, a mix of all their sort of their best tracks from all their released records so far, and that's going to be on vinyl. And that's going to be fantastic. It's called Punk Rock for Gentlemen, 12 Near Misses.
Well, we ought to listen to one of their tracks right now, don't you think so?
Well, the good thing is that I'm not going to play one of their old tracks, because I've got an exclusive.
Excellent.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
Straight from the mailbox today, from Rob Simmons himself.
Excellent.
Is a little bonus for you. And you haven't even heard this yet, so a little surprise for you.
Good.
And we have got a brand new unreleased track from the Fallen Leaves. And this is going to be from their new album, which will be released in September, and it will be called What We've All Been Waiting For. And here is a fantastic track called Lavender Girl.
She's the girl with lavender in her hair. If you see me, don't think that I don't care. Can't believe I'm gonna take her out. South Coast girl made me scream and shout. She's the girl with lavender in her hair. From the mountain to the river to the sea it flows. Can't believe I'm gonna make her my new rose. She really going out with him? Alistair Crowley's rule is out. Must be meaning there is no doubt. She's the girl with lavender in her hair.
And that was the Fallen Leaves with Lavender Girl, and that's a brand new unreleased track from their forthcoming album, What We've All Been Waiting For, which will be released on sometime in September. I'm sure they're going to do a launch party as well.
Good.
And great track. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's great. You know.
You hadn't heard that before either?
Well, I had heard them play it live.
Oh, yeah, live.
But I hadn't heard a recording of it.
Yeah, it's a great track, isn't
it sounds actually quite psychedelic.
Yeah, I love that guitar.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different from, Rob's normal live guitar.
Yeah.
And I think it's got a great sound.
Yeah.
Got a really, really great sound. I love the recording.
Yeah. And obviously this year is the 40th anniversary of punk trademarked, and everywhere you go is like exhibitions and galleries and everything is punk. And I went to this exhibition that they've got in the British Library, which is actually really good. It's in the lobby. It's a free exhibition, and they've got a really good collection of fanzines and records. Some pretty rare stuff, actually. It's really worth it. And when you go in, there's this huge, big display board of Subway Sect, and Rob Simmons is there. It's
Really?
like a really early picture of him and Vic Goddard and Subway Sect. So there's a huge picture. When I walked in, I was like, there's Rob Simmons, So, of course, Rob was in the original, one of the first punk bands. Very first punk bands, Subway Sect. The great tracks like Nobody's Scared and Ambition that he played guitar on.
Well, of course, and of course, Rob stars in a picture of the Subway Sect on the wall of the 100 Club as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's true, isn't it? Yeah, he gets everywhere.
So he's a bigger star than most people think he is, actually.
But it was great. So I thought what I'd do as well, just a band I love that we've never played before, talking about Buddy Ascot on the drums, and of course he was in one of the best bands to come out of that mod revival period for me. This is the Chords and Don't Go Back. And that was the Chords and Don't Go Back. And sticking with a bit of the sort of mod theme, I know Tom Sheehan, your photographer in arms, has just produced a book Paul Weller books, and you were there at the launch party yesterday. So,
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. My old mate Tom Sheehan, who I met in a photo pit probably 35 years ago, has just published this brilliant book of photographs of Paul Weller, taken over 5 decades, 40 years. A great book called Aim High.
Okay.
A collection of his photographs published by the Flood Gallery in a brilliant super deluxe edition, limited edition of I think they're 500. I think they're 70 quid each, but they're a beautiful artwork in their own right, produced on art paper with a slipcase. It's an excellent book, and as I say, produced by Chris Marksbury's Flood Gallery. The gallery's been over at Greenwich Market for the last 5 years, and Chris has been producing rock artworks. And recently, he's decided to get into publishing, and Paul Weller book Aim High is his first book. So
well, we're looking at the not an actual copy, unfortunately. We're looking at it here, and it does look pretty good, doesn't it? And it's got a foreword by Paul Weller himself.
That's right.
It looks really amazing, you know. It's all, and also signed as well by Tom. Loads of images from it's like Style Council, right back from the Jam, right up and right to Paul now. And it's unusual for a photographer to work with someone such a long time, isn't it?
It is actually. And as I say, some of his photographs of Paul are really, really excellent. And if you're a Jam fan, you'll love this book. There's a super deluxe edition for 70 quid, slightly less expensive deluxe edition for 40 quid.
Yeah.
And these are really very collectible books. So, as I say, if you're a Jam fan, check out the Flood Gallery and have a look at this fabulous photo book by Tom Sheehan, Aim High.
Great. And you can check that out at www.thefloodgallery.com, and it does look amazing. And you also get some photos as well. So
you do.
Some prints. So it's good. About time you did another book, isn't it, mate?
Well, as I was saying to Tom last night, books are they do take a lot of energy and a lot of time, and you've got to do the right book at the right time. And I've got a couple of ideas on the back boiler. I'm not going to tell you about them just yet, but we shall see what occurs.
That sounds good. And don't forget Paul's books, The Smiths, The Early Years, and The Year on the Road with Oasis are available from all good bookshops and online, and still available and still worth getting hold of as well. So there you go. Thank you for your £5.
Cheap at the price, yeah. Good.
And I was a bit shocked yesterday because I found out that Charlie Harper was 72 years old.
72. Good God.
Charlie Harper of the UK Subs. 72.
Blimey.
Still touring. They only played like the 100 Club like last week, I think. And they've finally released. They've got to, they started off. They said they're going to release an album like A to Z.
Yeah.
So they started off with Another Kind of Blues.
Right.
And now they've actually got up to their Z album.
Have
Can you
they?
believe it? Yeah, Zazo or something I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
But they've got it. They've got all the way A to Z.
Is that
Who would have
right?
believed it? I mean, for me, I first saw UK Subs on Top of the Pops doing Stranglehold, which you actually took the photos on the cover of the single. When I was a little kid holding my little Stranglehold single, I never knew one day I'd be sitting next to the photographer who took those great pictures on the cover of Stranglehold. I'm honoured, mate.
There's some live pictures there taken at the Music Machine on Stranglehold.
That's right.
That's right, yeah.
You were down the front.
I was.
Oh, you were on the stage, weren't you, as well?
I was on the stage, I was on the stage that night. Yeah, it was mad down the front there.
Yeah, that was
but
great.
that was a great gig.
Yeah.
I remember.
But and he's still playing gigs and still going strong. And they've got one of the best lineups they've had for ages now, haven't they? The Subs,
we've certainly got to go and see the Subs. We saw them 2 years ago, and I thought that they were remarkable. Got a great. Charlie's still on form.
Yeah.
And they got that great guitarist Jet.
Yeah, Japanese guitarist.
Yeah.
Alvin Gibbs from the sort of second lineup.
Alvin, great bass player.
And they're Jamie Oliver on drums. And great lineup, and they're still doing it. And let's have a cheers to Charlie Harper. Happy birthday, Charlie.
Here's to Charlie. Happy 72nd,
Well done.
mate.
72nd, eh?
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
and actually, this ties in a strange way, if I can do a really good segue here, with the soundtrack of our lives, because if anyone listened to our podcast with Ebbot Lundberg of the soundtrack of our lives, we talked about the UK subs, because in their last album, the soundtrack's last album, one of the songs they built in the riff, the bass riff to Tomorrow's Girls in the song, and it's quite funny. And then they were sort of talking to Ebbot about it, and he said that they actually, with the Union Carbide Productions, which was the band before Soundtrack of Our Lives, they sort of met at a UK subs gig in Gothenburg. So the subs have always been quite a part of Ebbot's sort of musical upbringing. And said it was nice that they incorporated the riff of Tomorrow's Girls into the soundtrack song. I thought it's a cool throw it to the universe. So it was quite funny. So I thought, well, let's play it in celebration of Charlie Harper's birthday. And in a little strange link to Ebbot, the soundtrack of our lives, here is UK subs and Tomorrow's Girls. A great track by the UK subs. That was Tomorrow's Girls from their debut album Another Kind of Blues, 1979.
It's a classic punk track.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
From a classic band.
Yeah.
One of the unsung heroes of the punk era. UK subs, one of the great bands, really. Live gigs back in '78 were amazing.
Yeah.
And they still cut the mustard now.
And we've been busy, haven't we? Been to gigs. God, I need a break. The rest.
Been to lots of gigs.
Lots of gigs, and a good one that we saw was the Long Ryders. Talking about seeing bands and being nostalgic, I hadn't seen the Long Ryders for 30 years.
Well, I hadn't seen them ever.
Oh, I hadn't seen them?
I've never ever seen them before.
Oh, right,
and
okay.
I was unlucky because I went out and bought Native Sons when it came out in, I think, 84 or 85, and always wanted to see the Long Ryders. When they finally came over into the UK, I think in 85, I was doing something else, so I couldn't see them then. Yeah. Then they came back over again in 86,
yeah,
and I went off to China and Tibet.
Oh,
I think I was in Lhasa the day they were playing in London, actually, which is quite a long way away, actually, and a bit higher than London as well. And then I thought, 87, they'll come back in 87, but they're broken up by then.
That's right, yeah.
So I went out to Brighton at the beginning of the month and saw them for the very first time.
What do you think?
Oh, it was fantastic for me. Yeah. It was like a dream come true.
It's great, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lovely evening. I got them all out on Brighton Beach. They follow Billy Bragg and Oasis in my pictures of people out on Brighton Beach.
Oh, right.
And then...
Well, there's a book. You can, go to Flood Gallery and get that published.
That's right.
Pictures of rock stars on Brighton Beach.
I wish I had more pictures.
It's a slim volume.
Yeah, that's right. It's a slim volume. Yeah. A fat boy slim volume.
You can get
he lives in Brighton. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. I
Everybody
should
does
photograph
these
him.
days.
Quite frankly,
Charlie Harper lives down that way.
That's
Captain
right.
Sensible. There's loads of rock stars to photograph on Brighton Beach.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the gig afterwards was absolutely sensational. I thought. I mean, God. These guys only play from time to time, and I wish they'd play a lot more, because when they play brilliantly. They are simply fantastic musicians and great guys. And of course, they all Steve, Tom, and Sid all share the vocals, and all harmonise. And Greg's at the back there. Record company executive as he is these days. Greg Souders plays a mean drum. And they're a fine bunch of guys, and as I say, that gig at Brighton just blew my socks off, quite frankly. And they went through a fantastic part of their catalogue, and of course,
it was a great set, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a brilliant set.
Well, you're looking at your signed set list now, aren't we?
I am looking at my signed set list.
This is good podcast material.
It is.
If everyone can gather
it's
around.
great. Yeah. I mean, you got everything on there. Run Dusty Run, Gunslinger. Tell It to the Judge on Sunday. I Have a Dream.
Tower, which was fantastic. Which was, I think, although it's one of the slowest songs they did, that really stood out for me as one of the highlights. That was a fantastic track.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Yeah. But I think my favourite song, which they played and which we both agreed on, is Still Get By.
Still Get By.
So
absolutely great song.
Should we play it?
Let's play it.
But just a little girl, she's not too cool, right out of school. I would not believe it if she said it wasn't true. Hanging with the crowd, she's seen going up and down. As the story goes, she still gets clothes from the lost and found. I am not afraid of being left with her, I said. Just a puppet on a string now, might as well be dead. On it goes, stupid girl, where's your clothes? And when she cries, I hope that I can still get by. Still get by. Hope I can still get by. Hope I can still get by. Hope I can still get by. She cries, I hope that I can still get by. Still get by. Hope I can still get by. Hope I can still get by. Hope I can still get
Okay, that was the Long Ryders and Still Get By from their debut album Native Sons, and that was one of the tracks they played in their fantastic set. And we both saw them. You saw them at Brighton the night before, but I saw them at Under the Bridge in London.
Yeah, we both saw that gig as well.
Which is under that
under the
Stamford Bridge.
under the
Shaking,
it's under the stand of a certain football club in West London, which I don't really want to mention.
No,
you know.
No, maybe.
I mean, it's kind of a. It's a nice-ish club, but I just wish it was elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know, like
Under
the
another
100 Club
exactly,
would be better, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But there you go. It was a great gig, and
I loved it because I hadn't seen them. I said 1986 was the last time I saw them. So and I thought they were still great.
oh, they had the crowd right with them too, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Singing along.
Yeah, everyone was really singing.
Looking for Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? When they
It
played
was.
that?
Yeah, Sid.
What a way to end this.
Yeah, it was. It was. Sid had the crowd, right, right in the palm of his hand, really, at the end there, and it was absolutely a superb set. Both in Brighton and at Under the Bridge.
Yeah, and of course we'll be able to see some of these great photographs on Retroman Blog.
That's right. Should be next week.
Yeah, www.retromanblog.com. We'll get the pictures up there soon. And of course they were over really touring to promote their fantastic box set CD, which is a 4 CD box set called Final Wild Songs. And this is it's well worth getting, even if you've got all their albums, because there's lots of rare stuff on there, live, a whole live CD. But and they played pretty much all the best of these tracks off this compilation, and it's well worth getting hold of. And it's been really nicely produced by Cherry Red Records, which is a great record label. 4 CDs, it's worth it, and a booklet, and it's got notes by all the members of the band and lots of stuff in there. So. And it's well priced. It's not expensive, and it's done in sort of a small box. So it's not like one of these too flashy things. So I really recommend getting that. And that's Final Wild Songs.
Yeah, and I just hope that that the Long Riders can be heartened by doing these the 2 live gigs that I saw. Which I thought were absolutely fantastic. I hope they can be heartened from that and maybe do it on a more regular basis, because they've not played that many live gigs since they split up. Only very occasionally, and they play together brilliantly.
Oh yeah,
and like they played forever together.
Well, there's definitely a band that's crying out for like new material, isn't it?
Yeah,
sure they could write some great new material now.
But they could exist on what they've got anyway.
Yeah, but you think there's more
and
to
the crowd
come,
would
don't
love
you?
it.
But you think they're a band that they just fit. They played so well together that you sort of think, there must be a chance for them to write something new.
It would be great. It would be great. I must admit. But for me to see them playing live at 2 gigs was something I'd dreamed of for 30 years, quite frankly. And I wasn't disappointed. They're truly one of the great bands, I think. They're brilliant musicians and great vocals, and everything went right. It was superb.
Well, they sort of predated all that alt country thing, didn't they? That will come later with Wilco and the Jayhawks and all that stuff. So I think they were sort of pretty much merging all that sort of West Coast sort of country and westerns,
Paisley Underground,
and a bit of the garage rock as well.
The green on red.
Yeah, they merged all that together really well, didn't they? So I think they're definitely. I think they're often overlooked as a band. They
are overlooked, but
R.E.M. obviously went on to sort of to bigger and better things commercially and that. But I think Long Riders always had it in them to have been as big as R.E.M. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, R.E.M. were never really my cup of tea, quite frankly, and for me, Long Riders are the band that are absolutely steeped in rock and roll. They're oozing rock and roll, and when you see them live, you know why. Yeah, that's true. They've got class, and they're just one of the great bands. I think if they can play like that only from time to time, imagine what they can play like. If they do slightly longer gigs, slightly longer tours, and play a bit more regularly.
Yeah, let's hope so.
But great to see them all.
Yeah, excellent.
And go out and get that box set because it's a cracker.
It is well worth it.
Yeah, Cherry Red, £20. Final Wild Songs.
Good stuff. And a band that talking about older bands that are releasing new material. This is a band which has done that. They've just released a new single, and that's your probably. I'm from knowing you over the past God knows how many years, I think this is the band that I would say is probably your definitive band, the Flamin' Groovies.
The Flamin' Groovies.
Who again played recently in London, and
they did. Played last month in London.
Got a new single out. So how did it go? I couldn't make the gig, unfortunately, because it was a Monday night. But how did it go?
Well, I mean, seeing the Flamin' Groovies, since they got back together over the last couple of years, with their new drummer Victor, they're just superb live. I mean, they're great guitarists. Chris Wilson hasn't lost the voice.
Yeah.
Cyril has still got the guitar.
Yeah.
He's a great guitarist, and he plays that incredibly heavy,
the clear plexiglass
guitar must weigh a ton. You know, he plays
tried
that.
It on, didn't you?
But I tried it on. I don't know how he can play that for the whole gig, but because Cyril's not exactly a huge guy.
I know.
And it was a tremendous gig at the Scala, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really they'd just done they'd come off the back of a little tour in Europe, and you know, they filled in England and played in London, and then we were back off to the continent the next day. But the gig really worked, and they played, you know, as usual, all the classic songs.
You've got another set list.
Yeah, I've got another set list.
This is the handy thing about you being a photographer. You get to steal all the set lists.
Yeah, I do. I get to get there before everybody else gets their greedy hands on, and that's true. Yeah, and of course, you know, there's all the great songs here. Let Me Rock, I Want You Bad, I Can't Hide, Feel a Whole Lot Better, and
Shake Some Action, Slow Death.
Shake Some Action, Slow Death, superb set list.
Fantastic.
And they haven't lost it.
No,
they really haven't lost it. The Groovies, they've come back with a vengeance, and you know, hopefully they can find some new fans. I mean, they were off the face of the earth at 25 years, pretty well. You know, I mean, after in the early 80s, I think they split up, and you know, they didn't come back for about 25 years. So, but you know, it's great to see them back, and they've recorded. They're recording some new material, and yes, Crazy Macy is on Burger Records, their first single in 30 years. And actually, it's just been released in time to celebrate the band's 50th anniversary.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, 50 years they've been going, since 66. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow.
My God.
66.
I know.
I was just...
Almost as long as the Stones.
But that's amazing. And of course, don't forget, we did a great podcast with Chris Wilson of the Flamin' Groovies.
We did.
It was really entertaining.
He's a man steeped in rock and roll.
Oh, yeah, it's a great podcast. And you can get that on our Retrosonic podcast site. Where Chris talks us through not just his favourite Flamin' Groovies tracks, but also he was in the Barracudas, so you've got that. And he picks a lot of his sort of influences from all the blues and the R&B as well. And it's a really honest and entertaining chat about the history, and he's a great storyteller. So as we said, the Flamin' Groovies are releasing a brand new 7-inch single. Crazy Macy backed with Let Me Rock, and let's hear the title track. This is a new track from the Groovies, and it's called Crazy Macy.
passed her by, and then she died in a hail of bullets before she could say goodbye. 'Cause she went out, she went down, started turning, ran around. Have a party, have a party. Have a party, have a party, have a party.
So when did you first meet the Groovies?
Well, I first met them in '77 in London. They were living in London then, and then in '78 they did their spring tour, and I was a young photographer, and I asked Cyril if I could accompany them on the road, which I did. I went to a number of their gigs that spring, and of course I thought they were going to be one of the greatest bands known to man, and it was quite sad that they'd split up a couple of years later, and I didn't see them again for 30 odd years. I know it was really saddening actually, but it's great to see them back, and strangely enough, it is the this year is the 40th anniversary of them playing a legendary gig at the Roundhouse in 1976, supported by the Ramones.
Yeah, one of those legendary gigs, isn't it?
One of those legendary gigs, and perhaps the Ramones probably one of the first punk bands to play in London.
Yeah, it was one of those gigs that you had to have been there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was that one. I wasn't there.
You weren't there, mate.
I wasn't there. No, actually, I was on the other side of the Atlantic in the States.
Yeah.
Strangely enough.
You saw them at the Roundhouse later when they played with
I did.
Talking Heads.
I did. I saw them later, and I saw the Ramones' legendary New Year's Eve gig at the Rainbow as well.
Yeah.
It's Alive.
It's Alive
as recording. Yeah. So I was there for that.
Yeah.
But the Ramones, the night after the gig it was on the 4th of July, '76. That gig. The night after that gig, they played a legendary gig at Dingwalls, which if everybody says who were there. Was there would have been thousands of people there. Everybody was there. But I think a lot of people were there. I think Mick Jones, The Clash was there, and Joe Strummer, and the Pistols, and the Damned. They were all down there watching the Ramones that night.
Yeah, fantastic.
Evidently. But there you go. 40 years ago this summer. 40 years ago next month. Can you believe it?
Wow, time
flies. Yeah, I know. And if you love the Ramones, go to the Ramones Museum in Berlin.
Oh, yeah.
We've been there.
Yeah, you can see a report on our trip to the Ramones Museum, and you've got your pictures on of the Ramones on Viva La Rock, wasn't it?
That's right.
Magazine cover.
Flo runs the Ramones Museum in Berlin, and there's a little cafe there, and you can't go wrong by going into the Ramones Museum in Berlin and having a coffee or a drink in there and meeting Flo.
That's true. That's good. And talking about the Ramones, First Third Books have just released a limited edition Ramones book by Danny Fields, which is a photo book and also includes a sort of limited edition print as well, which is signed by Danny, and that's a really great one. And First Third Books you've worked with because of they did a felt book, didn't they? Like
that's
Lawrence,
right.
And they're a great sort of independent publisher who well worth looking out for. And the Ramones book it's great. It's just beautifully packaged again. They're really clever the way they do it, and you can get like standard editions or deluxe editions. And I'd recommend that. It's called My Ramones, and it's by Danny Fields, who was the first manager of the Ramones, and it's a really good hardback book. It comes with a signed print as well, and it's well worth getting hold of. You can check that out at firstthirdbooks.com, and I'd really recommend it. And they're a great publishing company as well. Yeah, well, let's play a Ramones track. This is your pick. What have you gone for?
Well, I've gone for a beautiful 2 minutes of 2 fantastic minutes of the Ramones from Rocket to Russia, Cretin Hop.
Classic Ramones and Cretin, as they say in America, or Cretin Hop.
Yeah, that is such a great record, isn't it?
What a track, Simplicity.
Oh, that is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's like the Fallen Leaves say, that simple is not easy, but to get that simplicity and make it work is really hard,
Yeah.
And I think with Buddy, from going back to the Fallen Leaves, when he's playing drums, when you think how like the Fallen Leaves on the surface, you think they're a great garage band, but when you see him play the drums, you're thinking, God almighty, they're pretty complex songs, actually. There's so much going on, but to distill it down into that, you still can't beat it.
Well, the Ramones always made it look so easy, didn't they? The Ramones were such a great band. They were a beautiful band.
Did you actually get to hang out? I know you went to Northern Ireland, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I hung out with the Ramones a little bit. Yeah, lovely blokes.
Yeah,
all really lovely blokes. Yeah, very lovely, genuine blokes, and just want to play rock and roll.
Because you went to Belfast with them, didn't you?
Went to Belfast with them.
Yeah, took some
Everybody
photos.
Went crazy. Belfast and Dublin.
Yeah,
it was mad in Ireland. Yeah, it was really, really mad, and everybody loved them.
But to have been there when they played that, I mean, for me, It's Alive is still one of the best live albums out, and I mean that's because I was too young to be there at the beginning of punk. So when It's Alive came out, that was like one of my first records. That was fantastic. That's how I got into the sort of the Ramones. So to be there at that legendary gig must have been really special.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I was on the side of the stage for that gig. It was tremendous. Yeah. It's tremendous having been at some of those legendary gigs and seen these legendary bands, like of which we'll never see again, unfortunately. Yeah. It's sad that that kind of style of rock and roll seems to have been not so popular now. Yeah, but hey, I still love it, and so do you. That's right. Exactly. And there's a few of us still do, and we're trying to keep the flag flying.
That's right. Well, talking of someone who's keeping the flag flying for sort of raw rock and roll and R&B and stripped back music is Billy Childish, and again, this is another band that's artist has made a comeback appearance. His first London show for 6 years, and that was under the new lineup of Wild, Billy Childish, and CTMF. And we saw them at the Lexington last week, that was an absolutely fantastic gig, wasn't it? What a show that was, or two shows, because there was a matinee.
The matinee.
And the evening show.
Yes, that's right. The matinee with Billy dressed up in his David Crockett outfit.
Yeah, that's right.
Hat included, and that was a Wild Billy show.
That was fantastic, wasn't it?
It was. It was a great show.
Yeah. He was so relaxed and looked like he was really enjoying it, and there was a lot of banter and a lot of laughs in the matinee. But they had the lights up because they were filming. I think Paul Kelly was filming from Heavenly, and I think that they were doing a film, so they had to have the house lights were up. So it was more like a typical sort of matinee show. But Billy was on form, wasn't he?
He was right on form, with a lot of banter. There was a lot of humour. The evening gig, though, I think it was a bit more intense.
Yeah, that was where the lights were.
Lights were down, and that was very atmospheric, that gig. Yeah. And it was Bill back to what he does best, which is playing stripped down rock and roll. And it reminded me of gigs I saw the Headcoats 20 years ago playing at the St John's Tavern. You know, it's got that atmosphere of stripped down rock and roll. Billy doing what Billy does best.
Because we spoke in our recent podcast that you've got one of your pictures of the Headcoats on the new CTMF single, Glimpse of Another Time, and that's one of your photos right on the cover, isn't it?
That's right. Time.
And he's talking about the gigs there. So, but you go back a long while with Billy, don't you? Back to the Milkshakes.
I go back to the Milkshakes in '83. Yeah. And saw the Milkshakes back in '83. They were a great band, and of course, having been a Link Wray fan for since my teenage years, I've liked that kind of guitar and that kind of rock and roll style all my life. And the Milkshakes took on that kind of style, and then Billy's other bands later on. The Mighty Caesars, and then the Headcoats did that as well. And Billy, of course, the Headcoats were going right throughout the 90s, playing small gigs and not compromising on the way he plays it.
And you've got another set list from your recent list. And what a great! I mean, and the great thing was, I mean, he didn't just play like the new album or anything. He's done a pick of pretty much everything.
Yeah, it was
from
great.
Going back to Comanche from the Milkshakes. He's done stuff from the Buff Medways, the musicians of the
Troubled
British
Mind.
Empire. What a great! I mean, you've got Lie Detector.
Yeah.
You know, Misty Water, Sally Sensation. It's just such a great pick of tracks. Yeah. And the good thing was at the encore, he got out Kira and Lidella from the Headcoatees.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
And they did a couple of tracks, which was really great fun.
It was really
everyone
good fun.
was really enjoying that, and I think they all did as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this again, it might be something that will lead to some more gigs.
Well, I hope so. I hope Bill really enjoyed it, and I do hope he enjoyed it so much that he's thinking in his heart that he should be playing a bit more. Well, I noticed Julie's doing a bit more vocals now with CTMF. Yeah,
and she did. There's the tracks that she sang live, and they came over really well. You know?
They really did. Yeah, she was excellent. The vocals sounded really good.
Yeah, really good. Let's play a track from the new CTMF album. This is out on Damaged Goods Records now. It's just been released. The album's called Square One, and here's a track with Julie on the vocals, and this is Turn and Run.
Got out of the car alone and mad. A few cigarettes and my lighter was all that I had. Take the path through the back of the houses and I looked around trying to make myself feel safe. The crash of bottles and the leaves in the trees and the ground in the night and
And that was Wild Billy Childish and CTMF with actually Julie on vocals, and Turn and Run from their brand new album Square One, which is out now on Damaged Goods Records. And obviously Damaged Goods has got pretty much all of his recent back catalogue of all CTMF stuff, and he does fantastic limited edition vinyl and stuff, so it's well worth checking out Damaged Goods Records website.
Well, Ian's been going for just a little more than 25 years now.
Okay.
And he's got a great back catalogue, and can't do any wrong. Go back and check out Ian's back catalogue.
Of course, definitely Damaged Goods. And don't forget, talking of our recent podcast we've done with Chris Wilson, we've also got a great interview with Billy Childish, which is again quite an interesting look back at some of his favourite songs as well. And we went down to Chatham and had a great sort of afternoon with him down there, watching him painting and chatting at the same time at the dockyard. It was great fun. So that's available at Retrosonic Podcast at our SoundCloud site or iTunes. And then we did two. I mean, Ian had so much to talk about and he wouldn't stop talking. We had to do 2 episodes with him, didn't we?
That's right.
So we've got 2 episodes of Damaged Goods.
His irrepressible character.
So many great records to play that we've actually got 2 Damaged Goods podcasts in the archive as well, and they're picking out some of his favourites as well from his label, and that's well worth checking out. And don't forget, all the podcasts are available free to download from SoundCloud, or you can subscribe on iTunes and you can get them delivered straight to your little pad or pod or whatever you want as soon as they get released.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and we've been talking about that this year is the 40th year for 1976 and all that went on, and there's loads of punk stuff going on in London. I mean, it's always just something, I don't know, it's difficult to... Does punk belong in a gallery or a museum? You know, is it... there's stuff going on in all over the place.
It's difficult to know, really. Obviously, people have got artefacts, and Malcolm McLaren's son has said that he wants to burn all his, or he has burnt all his
publicity stunt, wasn't it?
Yeah, some publicity stunt. However, the problem is with punk is that because it's 40 years ago and it's kind of anti-establishment, it's become as almost as if the establishment want to grab part of it for themselves. Yeah, that's what I feel. But of course, there wasn't not many punk records are made in the UK in 76, quite frankly. It was towards the end of the year and back in 77 really when the records really started to pour out. But in 76 you've got to remember that one of the biggest bands around the UK at that time was Dr. Feelgood. And, of course, Dr. Feelgood surprised everybody by getting a #1 record, a live record, of live recordings, to #1.
Has that ever happened again? I can't think of any...
I don't know.
The live album getting its #1. I mean,
but that record, Stupidity, was absolutely amazing record. Just... shows the heart and soul of the band that was Dr. Feelgood, and why Dr. Feelgood was so important for, I suppose, setting the fire alight for punk in a way.
Definitely, they were. I mean, I think you're right. And also, in the New York punk scene, again, that was a record that they looked at, wasn't it? So they were a catalyst for everything. It's what Dr. Feelgood brought up, that raw, basic rock and roll and blues and R&B.
But I think one of my favourite tracks from that album, written by Wilco and Mick Green from the Pirates, the great and love Mick Green, one of the greatest guitarists that ever walked the planet. This is Going Back Home.
fantastic track, wasn't it? That's from the live album Stupidity, which made its number 1 40 years ago, and that was Going Back Home. And Wilco has actually got his just released an autobiography called Don't You Leave Me Here, which I haven't read it yet. It's just been released, but I'm looking forward to it, and we'll be sure to do a little write-up on the blog about that. So check out the blog, www.retromanblog.com, and we'll do a little feature. And thanks for listening, everybody. Thank you, Paul. We've had a nice chat.
Thanks,
today.
Steve.
We've played some great
Been a
rock and
great
roll.
evening, as usual.
Thank you. Just like to say thank you to the Everlasting Yeah, who were at that Petrol Motion. We did a gig last week at the Half Moon, the last Retro Man blog gig with
That's a
Oz Arrow Hill.
superb gig.
Great gig.
They're a great band, aren't they?
Yeah, and just want to thank everyone for coming along, and especially to the band. They're really great guys. Again, you can check out our podcasts where we interview the band about that Petrol Motion and the Everlasting Yeah. So well worth a listen. And that was great. And we're now looking forward to our next show on June the 24th, which will be with Ebbot Lundberg from the Soundtrack of Our Lives and his new band, the Indigo Children, and with the Fallen Leaves and Galileo 7 in support. And don't forget, the Fallen Leaves will be on at 8 p.m. sharp, so don't miss out. And,
That's going to be a classic night.
Can't wait. I'm so
Can't
excited
wait. I'm really
to get Ebbot
excited
over
about
from
that gig.
Sweden to London. It's been a dream for me to get him over here. So
Yeah.
that's going to be something to look out for. So
It's going to be a wild and charismatic night,
It will be.
and you nobody should miss this night. It's going to be really tremendous.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And to play us out, let's have a Soundtrack of Our Lives song. This is Avenger Hill Street Blues, and thanks for listening.
She was born
Now Let Me Rock is on the B side of the first single, first 7-inch single they've done in 30 years, called Crazy Macy.
That's right. Yeah, you can see the video for that. They've got that up on YouTube.
That's right,
Crazy
and
Macy.
that's released on Hamburger Records. I don't know if there's any copies left. I think they went
Not Hamburger Records, Burger Records.
Hamburger Records, Burger Records. Well, what's the difference between hamburger and burger?
I don't know.
A burger. And
I like it. Keep Hamburger Records.
and that's released on.
Did you have fries with that?
Can I start? Yeah, you can't put that on. And that's released on Burger Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have fries with that as well, Steve. Burger Records with fries.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I wonder what 7-inch single with fries is like.